What's up, everybody? This is the Sports Leak Podcast. Back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak. We got the co-host, Amanda. Amanda, another great week of football. It's
I don't know if
crazy.
I
It
would say great. This week was wild. This was one of
was
the most
chaotic.
topsy-turvy, chaotic weeks of football. I bet bettors were out of their minds this week.
It was fun, and it's crazy that we're 3 weeks in already, going into the fourth week. Great to have John Abraham back on. John, always great to have you on the show.
What's up, man? Always glad to be with AAA.
Yeah, absolutely. That's our calling card right there. So heading into week four, but let's recap week three. Like Amanda said, it was chaotic, hard to predict. And let's get started with we all picked the Jets to win on Thursday night against New England. They won easily 24-3. John, what are your thoughts on the Jets? Aaron Rodgers looked vintage and really balled out on
Uh,
Thursday night.
the Jets game for me was almost like every game around the league this week. They had 7 sacks. All
Hmm.
Yeah,
these teams, like I watched so much film and I was like, dude, like how do you score so lopsided? Most of the game this week, I don't know what happened. I think the cornerbacks came to play. I don't think people realize how big cornerback play is when it comes to when you're playing against a good quarterback and stuff like that. And having 7 sacks, McDonald is playing like he wants to keep that job. You know, Johnson going down because at the
yeah,
beginning
it
of the year
sucked.
they didn't know what they can. They knew McDonald was going to be that guy, and he's out there. I think
Yeah,
got like 5 sacks in the last 2 weeks, so he's
yeah.
looking good. And I think everybody can see, especially Amanda, because she's watched him so long. Aaron looked comfortable. He like he was having fun. He was placing
Yeah.
the ball exactly where he needed. You know, he got Lazard early, and
Hmm.
after that, you just saw the whole momentum of the team just you see Mayo and his team just seemed like they weren't ready to play after that.
Yeah, I mean, Rodgers only had 8 misfires the entire game, but one thing I noticed, they played well. He was spreading the ball around. He and Garrett Wilson have some chemistry issue. Most of his incomplete passes were in Garrett Wilson's direction, which is interesting because, he has the potential to be a wide receiver number one. So they have some chemistry issues they need to work out. But I mean, I know everyone picked the Jets to win this game, and in a week where only a third of the favored teams won their games. This
Crazy.
one was kind of a dead giveaway. It just seemed obvious. So I would have been shocked if the Jets didn't win. I mean, Aaron Rodgers' first home win as a Jet. So that's a huge deal for them. And the Pats, I mean, they didn't convert a single third down until the last 2 minutes of the game. Like that's
They,
you can't win a game
yeah.
like that.
No, that's about what I expect from New England this year.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to be very good, and the Jets took advantage of that. John, do you think that with Jermaine Johnson going down, does this open the door to get Hassan Reddick, a deal done?
I wouldn't even think twice about it now. Why would you?
Yeah,
They had 7 sacks, so they're up front. Williams is playing well. They bought people from I guess, the linebacker core also. I think Williams reported his first sack or second sack of the year. So they don't really need him now. That's what's messed up about holding out. When your team does stuff like this, they come and give 7 sacks. They're like, okay. And then losing Johnson and also being able to do that's what I'm saying. The pressure is now on Johnson to come back and fit into the scheme. Reddick is almost pushed out of the door now. Like you got to think
yeah.
about it. If you don't have to like pay this guy with the young guys that you was hoping that was going to be good, and now he's out here like I said, he's got 5 sacks in the last 2 games. Like if I'm Reddick, I'm like sheesh, sheesh. Maybe I can run to Atlanta. They need some sackers. I'm like maybe because I'm looking like he might not get signed. I don't know.
And the Jets dodged a bullet. Morgan Moses got injured in this game, not expected to be season ending, only a couple weeks. So they dodged a bullet there. And good thing they drafted Olu Fashanu. It's nice to have a guy that can fill in, a rookie with a lot of potential. But um, yeah, not a lot more to say about this game. Easy win for the Jets. They get to 2-1. John, how long do you think the Patriots go until they make the switch to Drake May? Jacoby Brissett isn't really doing much with that offense.
If he getting sacked 7 times a game, let's say if next week he gets
That
sacked like he did this game, they're gonna be
yeah,
forced to put him in because I think he might get hurt. I mean,
yeah,
you hate to hear about the NFL, but it's always the next man up. And
yeah,
sometimes it comes through injury, sometimes it comes through better play. And how it looking now, I'm saying the Jets was on his butt. I've seen a couple of times he was barely getting up off the field after it was hitting him so much. So, you're hoping that, he get a chance to play sooner than later because you might have a chance to save your season and he get more reps and you can go into next year looking good. But let's see what next week does.
Yeah, and I feel like we're going to see a huge emphasis on O-line conditioning over the next couple weeks because there have been so many sacks and so many like dangerous quarterback hits. Alex, talk to me about Giants at Browns. I feel like everyone, 0-2 Giants, everyone thought the Browns would wake up and get their shit together and come into this one. And I mean, it was a close game, 21-15, but the Giants pulled off a win here. How are you feeling about the rookie quarterback situation there in this game?
Yeah, the Giants, I expected the Browns to take care of business and win this easily. That defense, I expected them to force Daniel Jones into some turnovers. But he had a pretty good game, 256 yards, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. Malik Neighbors with a big game with 2 touchdowns. And that Browns offense is the issue here. The Browns offense can't get it going. And Deshaun Watson, whether he's distracted by off-the-field stuff or his on-field play, I've seen some people break down his film and saying, like, his timing's off. And he's got, like, a couple extra hitches that throws timing off and his accuracy and all that. So, John, what are your thoughts here? The Browns, they fall to 1-2?
Yep.
So we were just. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I mean,
what was I just talking about? Literally, they gave up 8 sacks.
Yeah.
Come on, man. And you stay in a game. This should have been a game that they should have won because the Giants lost penalty-wise. They had 9 penalties compared to their 5 penalties. And their 9 penalties put them in bad situations. They had 148-yard passing, 69 yards rushing. And you're thinking as a team, they only had 217 yards. That's ridiculous. For the Browns, I would feel like 4 for 14 on third down. I'm just telling y'all the stats because if you think about an NFL game, 217, you're thinking that total yards maybe should be in the first half, maybe 150 in the second half. But giving up 8 sacks to a quarterback that's supposed to be mobile, a guy that's supposed to be the catalyst of your team, your guy that he doesn't get sacked. If he gets sacked, he can make plays. Getting sacked 8 times is just you got to put that on a quarterback this time because he's not the average quarterback. He's not a guy that sits in the pocket. If you had a quarterback that sits in the pocket, I can kind of see it. Like if Daniel Jones was getting sacked like that, yeah, I get it. I get y'all Browns. Y'all have the best, one of the best pass rushers in the league. But being the Browns and giving up 8 sacks is pitiful. And also, Neighbors is saving Jones' ad. Jones want to keep his job. He better keep going to Neighbors because Neighbors is showing his butt. He's a young guy, but he's showing why they were able to unretire that number because he's showing now already.
Yeah.
What was interesting to me about this game is it was like the Giants were trying to hand the game away. I mean, you fumble the opening kickoff, and then the Browns come back and score a 24-yard touchdown on the next play. Like, all the momentum was with the Browns. And then, the game kind of got away from them. And then at the end of the game, Greg Joseph missed a field goal. They got the ball back, just did nothing with it.
Multiple opportunities, yeah.
So many wasted opportunities in this one. And I know their O-line is banged up. Deshaun Watson's head is obviously elsewhere. And then Myles Garrett is playing through injuries. He needs surgery, but he's postponing surgery. I mean, the whole team is a mess on all sides of the ball. So I don't see a lot of hope coming down the line for the Browns.
And one of the keys for Cleveland has been their run game. And 10 attempts for 37 yards by Jerome Ford. That's their leading rusher.
Run game?
Yeah, no run game. You're forcing Watson to throw it 37 times. It's just not clicking for whatever reason. Not great if you're a Browns fan. They fall to 1-2, and they'll play at the Raiders in Week 4. Another tough game. Another great, Max Crosby on that D line. Christian Wilkins. So Cleveland needs to get it together sooner rather than later. They could be 1-3 in a very tough division. So. It's going to be interesting. Amanda, let's get to your Packers, who I had to pick against them just because I'm a Bears fan. I'm trying to catch you in the standings here. But Green Bay took it to the Titans, win 30-14, and they're not missing a beat with Malik Willis back there.
Well, it was interesting too because I had doubts about Malik Willis. His career passer rating was not great coming into Green Bay. Last week, he had 14 pass attempts,
Yeah.
but the ground defense, the run defense in Tennessee is a lot different than our last matchup. So I was concerned. I did pick the Packers. I was a little nervous about it, but I mean, they played beautiful. And that Green Bay defense, I mean, after the game, Malik Willis was asked like how the game went. He put all the credit to the defense. 8 sacks, 20 pressures. I mean, they played relentlessly. And I am so happy as a Packers fan because historically we've been an offense first team. But it is really nice being able to just sub in whoever at quarterback and rely on the defense to show up like they did. Um,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I don't want to get too excited yet because Jordan Love's coming back and there'll be some changes and stuff, but it feels like a good year for the Packers.
Well, and the crazy thing to me is that last week what they did was, Malik, you're not going to throw the ball much at all. We're just going to hand it off to Josh Jacobs, and he's going to go crazy.
Yeah,
And
and it
that's the
worked.
recipe.
But
But
Tennessee's run defense is way better.
yeah, and they didn't run. They didn't just hand it off all day. And Malik Willis actually came through. John, what are your thoughts on watching this game? And Will Levis is just a turnover machine so far this year.
I gave up on Levis two games ago. Okay,
Yeah.
first of all, let's look at the bad things about the situation. They played well, but the defense kind of saved them. They had 2 touchdowns on defense. So let's be real. That's 14 points right there. And also they had 10 penalties for 75 yards. If we think about this game without those interceptions, without those DBs, without those sacks, Will Levis was, a better quarterback. I don't know if this game would look the same. They had a lot of yards, but also, like I said, the turnover, you can't really. I'm looking and you're looking at the score, and I watched the game, and it looked like they just controlled the game, but the defense controlled the game. And I said, you playing with a good back end like they have, like Zaire Alexander. I mean, it's just some stuff you just have great players that make great plays, and I think a lot of the team 8 sacks. We're talking about some more sacks. Like I'm saying, I don't know what's going on with the league in this week, but it was just like sacks over sacks over sacks. So I definitely think she's in love with Malik Willis now, whether she says it or not.
No.
Amanda is.
Oh no, I'm not. You know how much shit I talked about him last week?
He's playing well enough. He's playing well enough, and he's not turning the ball over, so it's good in that aspect. Yeah. But as a team, they're definitely going to talk about those penalties and being 5 or 14 for the third down. And they were lucky to have, the turnover guy right now. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know. He just got to snap in, but
well,
they definitely they got to look at that part. I know it was a great game for your team, but the negatives are they definitely going to be looking at that. I know.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think Green Bay is a young team. They've got a lot of kinks to work out. Penalties are always an issue for me. Like you see the young guys jumping off sides and stuff. You're like, not right now. And like some pass interference calls, they do those at key moments. Like you can turn the momentum of a game by getting a bad DPI. Like you got to be super careful about those. And there's definitely a lot of like kinks to work out. One thing that I like storyline wise for this week is the Titans used to have Malik Willis. Like they dropped him like a piece of trash. He got a pity ball.
He got a pity ball. What they call
it, him out the door. So watching Will Levis have a shitty game against a quarterback they tossed out the door, who's our backup, who kicked their butts. It was nice. That had to feel good for Malik though, like to finally get a shot and like show up and actually win a couple games in a row. Like that had to be good for his confidence.
So Amanda, any thoughts? Jordan Love's about to get healthy. Any thoughts of keeping Jordan Love on the bench and rolling with Malik?
No. Did you watch the second half of last season? I want to know if it was a fluke.
It's good timing to get Jordan Love back as week 4. You're going, was it at the Vikings?
Yep, at Minnesota.
Hosting the Vikings in Green Bay, but still undefeated Vikings, the battle for first place in the North. That's going to be a fun game.
Yeah, and that Minnesota team they're not fucking around this year. They really stepped it up with defense. Their offense is looking slick. So
let's talk about that game. Since we're on the topic, John, the Texans at the Vikings, I expected Sam Darnold to struggle against a solid Texans defense. I expected CJ Stroud to do his thing once again, protect the football, put up a bunch of points to only score 7 in Minnesota. After the Vikings have lost a bunch of defensive pieces too, Danielle Hunter and guys like that, they're the Vikings are I'm having a hard time understanding how the Vikings are 3-0 and being this successful. What do you see when you watch Minnesota?
It was field position this game. If y'all just look
Yeah.
at it, think about it. He only had 156 yards passing. They had
Yeah.
118 yards rushing, but you got that's field position. That's good. That's good. I guess whatever their punt ratio, whatever their return, their special teams has really got to get a lot of credit for this game. Because when I saw the score, my mind automatically thought they went 80 yards, 70 yards, 60 yards. I'm like, nah, they were pretty much in the red zone the whole game. Like
Yeah.
they were getting them easy. They was like, look, stop, pop, touchdown, stop, pop, touchdown. I was like, wow. I think the Texans they got 5 sacks. I mean,
Mhm.
so you can't say they had a bad game on defense, even though the score is very lopsided. But I think they defense played well enough because you look at the numbers, it looked like they could have won the game. Because I look at the stats just to mess with my mind sometimes and see like I run
Yeah.
all the stuff people say. They won time in possession by a little bit, but they were just scoring so fast. Like they were scoring so fast, and the field position was definitely on their side.
Yeah, I think one of the
And
biggest
then,
issues in this game was their lack of converting third downs. And I talked about this with a couple teams last week. Four total for the day. Like that's why you have 7 points. I mean,
yeah.
you can't win a game and not convert third downs.
Mm.
And I've had my not concerns with Brian Flores, but like I've held back a little bit on being all in on him. He has really done a lot in that locker room for that defense. And
Yeah.
Sam Darnold, I mean, Alex and I like to hate on him a little bit just because he's a fun guy to pick on. But four
Mhm.
different people score touchdowns in this game. Like he's spreading the ball around. Aaron Jones showed up in this one 108 yards. But he looked comfortable and he tied his all-time touchdown for his career. I mean, four in a game. So Sam Darnold had a good game. I just have a hard time believing he's a starting quarterback.
Yeah. Uh, to me, I think Darnold is having his 2023 Jared Goff season,
Mhm.
where like it's all going his way.
Well, you went
And
out
John,
there, didn't you? Jared Goff. Ooh. Oh no, no,
and then,
you went
He
out
hates Jared Goff so much. Like his
well,
tagline
I don't
last year was
hate
just
him.
Goff his ass.
I
Just
just know what he is. Jonathan Grenard against his former team with 3 sacks. So a big performance from him for the Vikings. Aaron Jones is fitting in nicely over there. As long as he can stay healthy, he's balling out.
I
And
want to
then,
see that matchup against the Green Bay defense next week. I'm
yeah,
gonna have my eyes on Jones.
that'll
Because
be
our run
fun.
defense is sus. Like that is our biggest weakness on the team right now, besides just young kids trying to figure out, penalties and such. But run defense in Green Bay versus Aaron Jones is going to be an interesting situation next week for me to keep an eye on.
John, you think this was just a 1 game outlier, right? Like the Texans are the better team here, right?
Well, I think Minnesota obviously was the better team. I mean,
Didn't
even
they
though,
beat
Today or
the
Sunday.
49ers last
yeah,
week?
yeah,
Yeah,
I
they beat
feel
the
like,
49ers.
yeah, I just feel like Minnesota is just a better team. I mean, I'm not going to take anything.
Wow.
You saw a young quarterback, and he looked young, even though he had a lot of passing yards. Once you scoring like that, you'll kind of let people. Okay, you can have this right here. We're trying to run the clock out, so you'll let them
Yeah.
catch it. So you'll let them catch it, tackle them inbounds, run the clock out. Game over. We good. So it is what it is. But I think the Vikings showed what kind of team they are.
Yeah.
Because everybody thought Houston was going to be, ready to play, and they weren't.
Yeah.
And hopefully they get Joe Mixon back soon. That'll help the Texans a little bit. CJ Stroud needs to protect that football. No turnovers like that. Speaking of turnovers, let's go to my Bears at the 0-2 Colts. Sloppy game. Lot of turnovers. Anthony Richardson throws 2 picks. Caleb Williams with 3 turnovers. An ugly game, and the Colts find a way to get the win 21-16. Amanda, as a Packers fan, when you watch the Bears right now, what are your thoughts with Caleb Williams and that offense struggling as much as it is?
I they have so much potential. I'm just waiting for it to see it click into place. I mean, Caleb Williams had a great week last week. Like numbers wise, he had a good
Mm-hmm.
week. And I mean, both of these quarterbacks have so much potential. I mean, top 5 picks in the draft. Anthony Richardson has a lot of raw talent. Caleb Williams, amazing in college. I'm just waiting to see it in the NFL. And Richardson kind of gets a free year because the injury situation last year. But we
Yeah.
just we just need the chemistry to click and I just feel like they're in their head so much still. And in this game, I mean, Richardson's first touchdown pass attempt in this game, that was one of the worst interceptions we've seen so far this like he did not throw it to his own team. Like
Mhm.
it was not pretty. Yeah, I don't know. But I know you talk shit all the time about, Matt Eberflus in this one. He looked
Yeah.
like he was putting something together at the end there. I mean, it wasn't like it was 21-16 in the third quarter. Like that 16 appeared at the last minute, 2-minute warning. Like there was some hope for a second there. It looked like something was stirring and then it died. So
Yeah, but he had a turnover on downs and some stupid stuff like that. I'm not an Eberflus guy at all.
no, but
Um,
I was hoping he'd pull it off so you couldn't talk shit about him this week. I just wanted the Bears to come back just for that reason, so you had to say good stuff.
uh, John, what do you see with this? I mean, the Bears, so much talent, but the offensive line is an absolute issue in Chicago right now. They started the backup guard, and he struggled a lot. What do you think is going on with the Bears right now?
If I'm the Bears, I'm happy with, I guess, the progression of Williams. He threw for
Yeah.
363 yards. Rome is finally becoming that receiver, even though he's a
Yeah.
young
Yeah.
receiver. See him, like, you see the connection with them two guys creating. They won time of possession. They had the most yards. They were 4 or 5 for fourth down. And he, like, think about it. The first week he went 93 yards. Second week 174, and you go for 363. Even though it's a
Yeah.
loss, it's
They're
got to be
still
some positive
improving.
because, like you
Yeah.
said, he was running around with his chicken with his head cut off. But they had so
Yeah.
many people coming at him, and to say that he still progressed and was able to put the yards up he did, and not have as many turnovers that he probably could have. I mean, he's a rookie. We keep thinking because he's number one pick, we're expecting just USC Heisman Trophy stuff. But like, look, let the guy like let him learn how to play football in the league. Let him get a little bit of arrogance knocked out of him. You can put up a good game, but you still can lose because I'm pretty sure he like, man, I put almost 400 and lost.
Yeah.
That's the NFL. So it's a learning lesson. But I think the positive out of it is that how they played. The positive part was nice.
I
Yeah.
think you have to go into this season as a Bears fan thinking that, yes, we're gonna be good eventually. Like, I wouldn't have any postseason hopes. I just want to see progress. I want to see good numbers. I want to see the team, building that cohesiveness. I can talk. And just kind of working on the trenches a little bit, like filling in those gaps over this year and next year. Alex, why didn't they go for an onside kick at the 2-minute warning?
Who knows that they were
I don't
thinking
think they
about
practiced
it,
it
and then
enough.
they changed their mind.
Yeah, I think they've been practicing that short kick stuff so much. I don't think people practice that onside because you got to tell people, which everybody would have knew it was coming. But I
Yeah.
think it's just I don't think they practiced it anymore. I think they kind of like this is not a
You're,
surprise.
you're down
It's not a
5 with 2
surprise.
minutes left. Just give it a shot.
Well,
Like, if you fuck it up, you fuck it up. The game's over anyway.
There's a new rule if you isn't a new rule the ball gets moved a certain way if you don't get the onside or something like that. I forgot
Yeah,
exactly. They move it. It's like insane or something. The ball, because they get the ball like pretty much the game is over anyway. If they get the ball where it's placed on the onside, if they get it like that at 40, 45, your game is pretty much over anyway.
Well, Eberflus said that he believed if you kick it deep and you have I believe one timeout left or two timeouts left, and if you force a 3 and out, we would have got the ball back with like 50 seconds. So that was his plan. It's just we couldn't force a stop, and they got a first down and ended the game. So I don't know. Again, I'm not an Eberflus guy. I don't like his situational game management skills. So. I'll gladly put the loss on him.
As per usual.
One of my favorite games of the weekend. There was all this hype about the Saints, 91 points through 2 games, the greatest show on turf, and here come the Eagles. And not a lot of people were behind me on this, with the Eagles going into New Orleans and getting this big win. And my favorite part was that it was like 3-0 at halftime. And that whole time, I'm like, this is perfectly set up for the Eagles to steal this game. Keep the scoring low. Saquon Barkley breaks that run off. And, the Eagles made just enough plays. They kept the score low. And it was nice to see Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis show up in this game. They were causing a lot of chaos on the D-line. John, the Saints come back down to earth in a major way in week 3, huh? At home too.
I knew it was gonna come soon later. It's the Aints for me. So even though I
Yeah.
don't play football no more, it's the Falcons and it's the Aints. So it was good to see both of these teams like showing that they're not that good. I mean, I'm just being honest, because we thought Philly was going to be unbeatable this year, after especially the first game they beat in the Pack. We thought that, oh, they coming on the scene. And it also gives me more hope for the NFC South. Now it's a toss up now because it
Yeah.
looked like New Orleans was going to run away with it. Kamara didn't do anything. 130 yards passing for New
Yeah.
Orleans. I mean, and I hate to throw stats out, but I'm just keeping it real. Like 130 yards passing, you're not winning the game. But it still was close. That's what I'm saying. Like it's so weird because there's no more stuns out there. Like I tell you, there's no stuns. Like all these games now, we're going to see what the teams are. Hopefully by week 8, we'll know like what the teams we're looking for the playoffs or who's going to be in the Super Bowl type thing. Because even Kansas City, Kansas City looks beatable. Like they won by a foot. About a foot 2 weeks, a field goal and a foot out of bounds, and then they could have. I mean, they could have easily been 0-3 if you look at their team.
Yeah, if they
And I
call
know
that
I'm off
DPI.
character right now, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Everyone's beatable right now. That's why we love the NFL because of parity.
Alex, I would like
Amanda,
to say you called this a big win. It was a
yeah,
point. It was 3 points. I wouldn't call this a big win. Like, yeah,
Give
yeah,
them.
but it's a statement win, is what it is. Like it's
What's the
in New
statement?
both of the teams
Orleans.
look like shit.
What's the statement?
Well, we were waiting for the Saints to look like shit. The Saints had looked like unbeatable through 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
But
And I
it's
knew
two
it was
weeks.
coming.
Week
We
one, week
watched
two.
the Saints. We watched the Saints long enough to know that they weren't going to keep that up.
I mean, it's Derek Carr. Like
Yeah,
we
but it's
weren't
just
buying
nice to
that.
see the Eagles humble them, bring them back down to earth, and it is a big win for the Eagles because the difference between 1-2 and 2-1 is a big deal. The way they lost to Atlanta, able to bounce back.
Yeah, I just don't have any confidence. I mean, Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, both of them completely incompetent at numerous spots in this situation, in this game. Like bad, bad, bad red zone. I mean, every single
Well,
time they were
I
within
agree
20
to a point.
yards.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
interceptions, fumbles, bad play calling. And I was calling Nick Sirianni Dan Sirianni last week because he's been just doing some Dan Campbell shit, but he doesn't have the success historically to back it up. Like, don't be doing ballsy shit and going for it on fourth down and losing games. So it's good for them that they won, but I'm not going to call a 3-point win a big win. John,
I'm gonna call it a big win.
you weren't on our picks episode that we did with Hugh Jackson on Friday. We had 6 games different. Normally it's only a couple. So Alex is going to talk a lot of shit about the 3 he got right. We split them evenly.
Yeah,
His teams won by 20 points total. My team won by
lean on your best,
58
bro.
points.
Lean on your best. You gotta lean on your best.
58 points. My team's won. Like my man's over here picking teams that lost by 30 points. So
hey, it's all right. Not everyone is gonna, win every game.
I know. I like that the defenses were put to the test in this game. Like the defenses showed up pretty well, but both offenses look like crap.
Well,
I'll be interested to see who bounces back better.
Here's where I'm going to push back on what you said, though, Amanda. I believe in this Eagles team, and I still do. Now, I agree. Nick Sirianni needs to get his shit together. Like his
on the back of
decision-making.
Saquon, though. On the back of
Yeah,
Saquon, not
use
hurt.
Saquon.
Got to be there on the back of Saquon and not hurt. So I'll tell you, because you seen if it wasn't for Saquon in this game, but they also got to rest him. Like stop doing all these passes and stuff to him if you don't need it. If in the red zone, give him some passes, but give him some rest because he I ain't saying he injury prone, but he has a tendency to make sure he's ready for the end of the year. Like but definitely keep feeding him. Give him about 20 touches running back.
Well, and to me, the play of the game was Dallas Goedert on 3rd and 16, and the Eagles are down. If they don't convert this, they probably lose the game. They hit Dallas Goedert, and he goes for like damn near 60 yards.
Yeah, he saved the game for them. I mean, Hurts was throwing behind people. Who was it? Kenneth Gainwell. He threw like 5 yards behind his guy, and he was wide open too on a 3rd down. I was like, "What?"
They need AJ Brown back badly.
Yeah,
both of those guys look bad.
So obviously they need some people to come back from injuries, but I was not impressed. Like, yeah, they won, but like, Yeah.
You were calling the Saints the greatest team since sliced bread.
First of all, I would never
Really?
use that analogy. Second, the fuck I was. You know how I feel about Derek Carr.
Really?
I thought he would
John,
just be slightly less mediocre than the Eagles, who haven't figured their shit out yet this year.
John, how about Chargers at Steelers? A battle of undefeateds, a nice old school defense first, you know, great game, low scoring, 20-10, and a big win for the Steelers to get to 3-0. How are you feeling about? I mean, Justin Fields is the guy, right? You can't bench him
I
now.
was about to say that my whole thing was I think Justin, if you just watch how he's handling himself on and
Hmm.
off the field, he's being very professional. He's not whining. He's not crying about getting hit. He's not creating turnovers. Arthur Smith is in the greatest position of his life again. He's not a
Yep.
head coach. That's okay.
Yep.
That's okay. You're not a good head coach. You're a hell of a OC. Like
Yep.
keep doing what you're doing. And this is the same thing that he was trying to do last year with a quarterback that didn't have the skills as Justin Fields. But now he has a quarterback that has the perfect skills for the offense he wants to run. He can put up 250 yards passing with the quarterback in Fields. He also can run if he needs to. He got a decent running game. I'm not saying they have a great running game because I haven't seen no boy be good since he's been in the league. But I think they're getting there, and I think it's going to be hard to sit this guy with the momentum he's giving his team, especially after beating a good Chargers team.
Yeah. That's an
I
impressive
think the
win.
Chargers are missing Bosa for the year, right, or something like that. I know that Bosa hurt. He got hurt in that game, right?
I'm gonna look that up right now.
I
Amanda,
think
what did
Bosa
you
got
think?
hurt.
So in our picks conversation, I talked about Justin Herbert playing with a high ankle sprain, and I love that he'll play through injuries, but we know he never plays as well with an injury. I mean, a high ankle sprain, his plantar fascia issues, but there were no incompletions until there were 3 minutes left in the second quarter of this game. Both quarterbacks were perfect completion wise up until almost the half. So I was surprised at how well both of them were playing because I mean Justin Fields, love the guy, want him to succeed, but for him to go that long without an incompletion in the game is rare for him. And I
Hmm.
mean Herbert was playing super well for someone battling injuries, and then he got that really rough sack, and I think it just kind of messed up his game from there. Fields third quarter falling apart a little bit with that interception. Granted, it was deflected, so we're not blaming that on him, but you can tell when things start to go sideways, you can see how he plays differently. Like he's
Hmm.
someone who hasn't quite figured out not to let the negative aspects of the game affect him. But he did, pull it together. And I'm glad the game went the way it did. I think Justin Fields needs the confidence boost to be able to make it
Yeah.
past some of those things because he's one of those young guys you want to do well. You want him like this is his
Yes,
shot. Like the
yes,
Bears
yes.
didn't keep him around. You and I both wanted the Bears to keep him. We thought they should build around him and they didn't. I
Yeah.
mean, Russ is out. He's in right now. So I'm glad they're pulling together a couple wins with him at the helm. But that defense played so well. And that's another situation where, I mean, you talked about the Packers defense carrying them. Not that they needed carried in this game because the offense played pretty well, but that defense played beautifully.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think 3-0 start, and if the Steelers play this right, like this, they can go on a deep playoff run. Honestly, I believe that. Like, the defense is playing so well. They're a well-rounded team, and Mike Tomlin, one of the best coaches in the game. That's a big win to beat
Who's
the
the
Chargers.
Chargers backup?
Taylor Henneke,
Okay. Do you think
and then
he's
Easton
someone that they
Stick.
need to consider for the next week or so while that high ankle sprain heals?
We'll
I mean,
see. And it
Herbert can't win
sucks.
injured.
The timing couldn't be worse because they got the Chiefs coming up,
No,
and
no,
I wanted to see Justin Herbert for that.
no, 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 no.
Yeah, but
Nick,
if he's injured, he doesn't win games. We've seen this. I mean, both he and Lawrence, they'll play with injuries and then they lose the game every time they play with an
yeah.
injury.
You ever heard?
Um,
Like I literally was told this so many times in my career. 70% of you is better than 100% of them. I was like, okay, cool.
Oh, what do you have against Heineke?
Nothing. I'm just being
He's
no.
been
I'm
in the
being
league
honest.
for like 40
Like
years.
I promise you, they used to tell me that, and I get it now. Like
Yeah, yeah.
Heineke,
No,
you're
that's
cool.
fair. I
We
want Herbert to
we
play.
gonna lose anyway. Let's lose with a guy that might be 70% compared to, especially if
I,
it's not gonna. It's
I
just
just
yeah.
worry he's going to make his injuries worse. Like they should have taken this week off to let him heal for the next week's matchup.
He may
Yeah.
not be as bad as the quarterback. As long as he don't get hit and he don't have to do like strenuous stuff, he all right. Like if he was a DB on that injury, is different because like I had an LCL one time and I was a DN, I couldn't do it, but a quarterback, I think he played that week, and I was like, yeah, he a quarterback. They was like, yeah, all he got to do is put his hand it off and do certain things.
Yeah. It says Nick Bosa avoids major injury, so that's good news.
Okay, good.
And then Derwin James is suspended one game, conveniently against the Chiefs, for a borderline hit. It wasn't even that an egregious hit, but whatever.
They
The
him
NFL
doing
wants
too
to.
much though.
They did the same thing to what? Justin Simmons, right? Or no? Who was it?
What that was
The
like a
black
last year?
Last year.
last year. Who's that safety that they pick on
Oh,
that got suspended last year? But anyways, we'll look that up. So yeah, Steelers 3-0. They play at the Colts in Week 4. No reason they can't get to 4-0. Chargers will take on the Chiefs. John, let's talk the Bucks, who had gotten out to such a hot start. They were 2-0. They're home against Denver, and they get blown out 26-7. Tampa Bay no-showed this game, huh?
7 sacks. Go back to what I was talking about before. I'm sorry. I said this. I don't know what was going on this week.
Yeah.
They sacked him 7 times. And Baker Mayfield, he's a quarterback that's supposed to be able to move in the pocket. But we can see he's still Baker Mayfield. You put a little pressure on him, you hit him in the face, he's going to make mistakes. Team is not going to be consistent. You know, like the team goes from how he goes. It's not like they're going to run the ball like 50 times or something like that. But him playing bad showed up. I mean, it just showed up. And big shout out to Bo Nix. I mean, he played well. He played well for a rookie. I mean, you can't really knock that. But I would definitely say it was a sack for me because some quarterbacks can take sacks and still be able to play. But I've seen him and I've watched him when he has to run around and he's used to getting hit. You can see him trying to hold the ball longer, and you can just because it's like when he started getting hit, you can just see he doesn't make any quick plans. He kind of just sit there. If you watch him in the pocket, he'll get the ball and then he'll just sit there like wait till he hit. It seems like he'll kind of dance, but he'll dance right to where the defense is. Not like like a great quarterback like Tom Brady. Even if they brisked him, he knew how to slide in and get it out of the pocket. He just take the hit because he think he's tough.
Yeah, I think that's one of his biggest weaknesses. He doesn't know how to protect himself, and he doesn't seem to care to.
Right.
I think he thinks it makes him look cool, and I love Baker Mayfield, but this was a rough game for them. Great defensive show for the Broncos, and Bo Nix looked really good for the first time this season. Granted, he was playing a crappy defense that's got a couple key injuries, but this was a weird game. I don't,
it was.
It was really confusing. I don't know.
The defense played well. The defense played well last week. I think when they the Bucks you talking about, right?
Yeah.
I think when they get Whitfield back, they'll be okay.
Yeah, some of those injuries held him back this week for sure.
Yeah, Whitfield is like the biggest, if they can get him back sooner than later, because people don't understand how important the safety is, kind of like with the Falcons, like Justin Simmons and Jesse Bates are like the reason why that defense is clicking.
Well, we were talking about last year, so many teams were cutting safeties and just letting them go. We couldn't figure out why, because we have a strong appreciation for safeties. That is a vital position. And
I don't even understand Justin Simmons.
Underappreciated, underpaid. But there was like an exodus last year of safeties leaving teams and getting, cut, and we were so confused by that. But yeah, interesting matchup in this one. I don't think the Bucs season is over. I think it was just a rough week. I would like to see some improvement, but yeah, weird week.
A big opportunity, a big game to get right. They're playing the Eagles in a wild card rematch, and the Eagles are going to be, coming in trying to get revenge from that loss and play a lot better. So 2-1 Bucks, 2-1 Eagles. That's going to be a great game in Week 4. And I just think this is just one of those games. Great job by Bo Nix of balling out, but I just think it's one of those games, and we can move on. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say the Bucs schedule sucks. It is one of looking down the line up until they play the Giants Thanksgiving week. Their schedule is rough. We got Eagles, Falcons, Saints, Ravens, Falcons, Chiefs, 49ers.
Wow.
So they gotta figure it out, or they're about to go on a long ass losing streak here.
Maybe the 49ers suck now. um, Amanda, Panthers at Raiders. You called this game.
I
You
did,
said
and I didn't pick them though. I said I'm gonna take the safe bet and pick the Raiders, but I will say Andy Dalton shows up again. Like he's undefeated against them. He is 5-0. He has never lost to them. And the last time he started for the Panthers, he threw 327 yards. Like I said, I would not be surprised if Dalton showed up and just opened a can of whoop ass on them because he's never lost to that team. And something about him against them, he had the game of his life here.
John, what does that do to the narrative here with Bryce Young? It was all the talk was, well, Bryce Young's in a terrible position and the Panthers team around him sucks. Now you got the old veteran.
Go ahead. Go
Goes
ahead.
in there and lights it up. Does this mean it's all on Bryce? Does Bryce just suck? What's going on? Is Carolina actually
you
good?
hit it dead on the head, exactly where I was going to go with this. I want to hear all these people that were just saying how they shafted Bryce Young. He didn't give him an opportunity. Carolina has the worst ownerships, the worst coaches, the worst everybody. How y'all did Bryce Young, put him in that situation as hell. I just want to hear all these naysayers because not saying Bryce doesn't deserve the opportunity. I'm not saying that. Like I said, I can see him being a Geno Smith later on. I can see him being end up being in a backup situation for maybe a little while to end up getting his start position. But he got to learn more about football. He got to learn more about the game. When Andy Dalton came in, it messed everybody up because you got to understand the team they were playing was like, this is Carolina Panthers. They're looking at the record. They're not looking at the player. They're thinking like, okay, the other guy supposed to be better than him because it's the backup, regardless of what his name is or who the backup is. In your mind, you're thinking we got a backup quarterback. We're not saying we're going to sail through this game, but it's the Raiders. And, their coach, their team, they're arrogant. They feel like, we can come and bully people. They got bullied. Yeah. They got bullied by Dalton. They didn't know Dalton was going to still remember their number. They knew the redhead was going to kick ass and take names. It's stuff that they don't understand about football. And I'm telling you, as a football player, I know how Vegas was thinking. Oh, they got him in here. We're going to do him the same way we did Bryce. We're going to do him the same way. Ain't nothing changed. Quarterback don't change. It's still the same team, guys. Still the same. I guarantee you this is what he was saying. It's still the same team. Then he got there like, oh, shit. Oh, man, we woke up a giant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got Chuba Hubbard going for 169 yards. You got Deontay Johnson, 122 yards, a touchdown each. Andy Dalton tore it up. I just wish, where was this Andy Dalton when he was on the Bears? What was that about? Amanda.
We have to see if it stays though, because a quarterback will come off the bench, pop into a game, have amazing numbers, Gardner Minshew style, and then just go back into obscurity week 2, 3.
Yeah,
it's definitely not going to stay.
They can coach for him now. They know Dalton. They can coach for him now. So they got a little tape. They can say, okay, Dalton, we see what they're doing with him. It's a different play. It's different.
Who do they play next?
Next week, they host the Bengals. And I got Cincy in that one. The Bengals are going to be pissed off. So
I just expected so much more from them this season, and we can't talk about them yet because they were Monday Night Football. So let's Dolphins Seahawks. I'm going to get ahead of myself here because I want to talk about that Monday night game.
Well, Amanda, you were all in on Skylar Thompson, and then he just sucked.
Was I?
You said that he was going to be better than Tua. No, I'm just kidding. Once Tua went down, we knew the Dolphins were going down with him. Amanda just left because of those comments by me.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you the big thing that I think people don't understand about what the Dolphins really got to deal with now. And this is the biggest thing. It's going to be a big thing probably for most of the year. Going from a left-hand quarterback to a right-hand quarterback. It's super different because your tackle is used to being the main tackle on the right, not the main tackle on the left. So now it's almost like those tackles got to switch positions and switch how they do. Even the way the ball comes out, you're used to the ball coming out this way. Now you're used to a quarterback looking this way first. If he's throwing this way, because even though they run the field, when they look up, the ball length is coming out different because it's a right-hand quarterback compared to a left-hand quarterback. And I think that was the biggest difference of why they were so slow. Think about it. You handing off the ball this way compared to you handing off the ball this way. So everybody on the team got to learn the different quarterback. And okay, now we got to, Tua would have went this way, but now this guy's going this way. So,
Yeah.
like even as a tackle, guard, center, everything is different. Like they think about right now, we had to reverse how we talk. Like, okay, we're doing this, we're going this way, we're going this way. Now we got to go this way and this way. I actually played with Mike Vick, and when Mike Vick left, it was like the whole line changed. Like the old, like because I remember we used to have to rush him. I have to rush from the left side, not the right side, because I want to go because the best tackle for a left-hand quarterback is going to be on the right-hand side. You know what I mean? So, but now you have to switch them up, and it's like trying to get back. So I just didn't see I didn't see the cohesion there that they had with Tua because like I said, it's different when you see that ball coming from the left to the right.
Yeah, I think it's one of those situations where there's gonna be a transition. Like especially like it's not just moving from guy A to guy B. It's guys who are completely opposite handed. Like that's crazy. Like that's gonna be a big transition anyway. So I'm not gonna hold this one against them. They put Tim Boyle in the game, which shows you how much they kind of gave up at one point in this game. But week 1 or week 2 with a backup coming in and the team having to relearn everything.
And going to the West Coast too. Let's give them credit for that because they came from Florida and they had to fly to the West Coast. And Seattle is not a just listen to the game. If you listen to the game, like that crowd, when I say they probably have the loudest crowd, coming from like I said, coming from the east to the west, trying to get comfortable, worrying about Tua because I don't care what you think. Like all those people on that team are still worrying about him. If they're gonna have him back. Going into Seattle and Seattle just coming out there playing comfortable. That's a lot that goes into this game.
Yes. Speaking of the Seahawks, they go to 3-0. A great start to the season. They took care of business in this one. And they got a big game coming up. Seahawks will be playing the Lions in Detroit on Monday Night Football in week 4. So that's going to be must-watch football. Amanda, should the Dolphins be looking, Skylar Thompson and Tim Boyle? You gotta upgrade that, don't you? There's got to be someone out there, Ryan Tannehill, someone that can be an upgrade.
Yeah, and we talked about this last year with Aaron Rodgers. Like when your starting prominent quarterback goes out and he's going to be out for a long time, like you got to beef
Still a lot of season to go.
Yeah, you got to beef up the quarterback room, and I'm surprised they haven't done anything with it yet. Honestly, like I don't know if they're having discussions with certain people, if it's just on their way. But yeah, I'm surprised they haven't brought anyone new in.
A trade or sign someone, Ryan Tannehill. He's a former Dolphin.
Hell no. I'll tell you what they got to do. They got to find a way to get the short passes to Tyreek Hill and Waddle. If you see that combined yards, that's ridiculous. And I don't care if you got a bad quarterback or not. You are a star on the team. You got to tell this guy, like, look, give me a quick slant and let me make something. Like Tyreek Hill can take a swing pass and take it to the house. You got to find a way. If you run a reverse, if you got to do a middle screen, if you got to do a draw play, I don't care. Even if you got to run get those guys the ball and get them excited. Because this don't even look right seeing those numbers for those two guys combined, not even having 70 yards. That's embarrassing. And I don't care who you are. It's got nothing to do with the quarterback. Now, you're that guy. Both of y'all paid. Y'all got to come up like, all this is like, just throw the ball to me quick and let me run.
The run game,
too. Kids. It sounds like Armageddon. I will be back.
Okay.
Oh, no worries. The run game too was non-existent. Yeah, the Dolphins got to be a little more creative. This is where Mike McDaniel is going to have to earn his money, right? And still got a long season to go. There's plenty of time to make the necessary adjustments and keep this team competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go Ravens at Cowboys. Where the Ravens jumped out to a 28-6 lead, they're putting the hammer down in Jerry World. The Cowboys battle back to make it interesting, but the Ravens hang on to win 28-25, a big win for Baltimore. Are you concerned about the Cowboys?
Always concerned about the Cowboys. The Cowboys are going to be the Cowboys. They're going to look good. Middle of the season, they're probably going to have 10 to 11 wins, get terrible in the playoffs. I'm happy to see. Honestly, Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson finally clicking together and having a game like this because a lot of people were thinking that Derrick Henry was, maybe this wasn't going to work out between those guys, but they finding a balance now. Lamar Jackson being MVP, he's doing MVP stuff. Rushing and throwing the ball. Having no turnovers is something that he has to continue to do. And getting Derrick Henry involved in the offense and seeing that he
Yeah,
can still rush the ball like that. Man, 151 yards rushing, bro.
yeah,
Keep
he
him
can
in the
still do
game, keep him running, and pray that everybody else can catch up with what they got going on now. But it was good football. It was
it.
not
Yeah.
even close. The Ravens just played great football. You know.
It's amazing how some games the Ravens look completely unstoppable, and then other games they just can't seem to get the offense going. And
Right. Right.
when they're
That's
firing on
why I
all
said.
cylinders,
That's why I said it was good to see Derrick Henry be consistent in this game.
yeah,
Regardless of what's going on, you always, I think this year, I just feel like the running backs are going to control this league. They're going to show
yeah,
why people need running backs. Even like with Saquon, I think with Bijan, I think they should make. I said this last week, and I'm gonna keep saying it. I think Bijan should be just a running back, just a main running back. Like every now and then, just giving him the ball, just coming out of the backfield, like just tossing it to him out of the backfield is almost just like a running play. Derrick Henry running good. Saquon. I mean, most of the teams who are rushing well, you don't have to depend on the quarterback that much. You can keep your quarterback standing up instead of laying down.
yeah. I agree, Amanda. Uh, you're seeing like what John is saying. You're seeing more reliance on the running game and more balanced offenses, and that's helping a lot of helping a lot of teams. Josh Jacobs in Green Bay, Aaron Jones in Minnesota, Derrick Henry went off in this game against Dallas.
Yeah, I think Detroit actually kind of highlighted the importance of a good running game last year with their
Yeah,
success. I mean, they had
yeah,
a beautiful 1-2 punch, and a lot of focus the last couple of years has been on those super fast receivers. Like Tyreek Hill has been like Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, these big name, tall, lanky guys who can pull a catch and run. But Detroit, I mean, we both know that the quarterback there is, I mean, he's not one of the best quarterbacks. I don't think he's MVP material, but they had a lot of success over the season because of that beautiful run game that they put together on the ground. So I think
yeah,
it drew more attention to it, and it's been good for the league. It's nice. I mean, running backs have been severely underrated,
Yes.
underpaid,
Yeah.
underappreciated. So I think it's
yeah.
it's good overall. I mean, you can win a game with a very mediocre quarterback who doesn't have good chemistry with his receivers if you've got a good run game.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah, agree 100%. Amanda, are you worried about this Cowboy defense? 2 out of 3 games, I believe, this year they've kind of no-show, right?
Yeah, so I highlighted this quote that I found on Draft Campbell. Charlie Campbell wrote, editors note, the Battle of the Overrateds was quite fun, but let's not forget that neither team is actually very good.
Who,
And
Ravens and Cowboys?
yeah, and I don't think he's right. It was just funny because you everyone came into this game with high expectations, but I do have a lot of questions. There's a lot of question marks. I mean, Lamar Jackson ran in a nice touchdown. Like we got to see him pretty mobile. The Ravens moved the ball well across the field. The Cowboys played a pretty good game. But penalties are an issue for them, and
Yeah,
red zone
yeah.
conversions are an issue. And we're just still seeing issues that we should have wrapped up in week 1 and week 2. Like we've had time to make adjustments.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was a pretty close game considering, but I just have a lot of questions still about both of these teams.
The Ravens have to learn how to put teams away. They have
Mhm.
leads and then blow the leads. And yeah, that's something they need to work on for sure. One of the biggest upsets from Sunday, the 49ers at the Rams. Both teams injury hit coming in, so I guess it shouldn't be too surprising, but I'm still surprised that the Niners found a way to choke this one, and the Rams stole it, and got their first win of the year. John, what did you make of this game? I feel like the Niners choked it away.
Uh, it was. I don't know. It was boring as hell to me. But
Yeah, I agree.
Matthew Stafford, I think, played very well. I think he played, and I'm not a big fan of his. I think he's definitely a great quarterback. He's definitely a Hall of Fame guy. But I think he needed this
Mhm.
game for confidence, and I think they came and played well. I think
Yeah.
their kicker deserves the week off because he,
The
he he won the
rookie.
game for him. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
Let's be real, and it was some sloppy football play out there. Even though Purdy had 330 yards, it just didn't look. Watching the game, you look at the numbers and you watch the game, it seemed like it should have been a higher scoring game, and it wasn't a
Mhm.
bad game. But the bad decisions at the end kind of messed it up for both teams.
And
Yeah,
there was a lot
yeah.
of time of possession on each possession. Like it wasn't one
Yeah.
of those where there's, 15 possessions in a quarter, or in a half. It went pretty quick. Um, and it just wasn't one of those that was like that. And my biggest issue is here, San Francisco's fumble in the second quarter. That was a huge kind of momentum shift there. They were up 14-7. Like they went into the half, went into the locker room, was like, oh, we fumbled it, but we're up a full score. And then the second half, I mean, they got a touchdown right away, field goal, and then missing that field goal and then losing the game by 3 points.
Yeah.
I mean, the Rams have a kicker that they can, you said give the week off or whatever. Like he's earned that. I don't think kickers should be missing these short field goals. Like,
Well,
I
Jake
just,
Moody has been
Rudy.
that's his first miss of the season.
I don't know what happened here. Like, because he's pretty reliable too. And
Yeah.
55 yards for him isn't long. Like he's good. Like he's reliable. And we saw him last year pull off some pretty good kicks. But throughout the league this week, there were quite a few missed field goals and blocked field goals. And back to
Right.
our this week being chaotic as hell.
Mhm.
It there were some games I just wanted it to go into overtime. I wanted a game to end in a tie. Like it was a mess.
Mhm.
The league was a hot mess this week, and it was funny. Like
Yeah.
this, I didn't find this game very interesting though. It was one of the more boring.
Yeah, I was trying because it's San Francisco. It just seemed like it's gonna be. I was just
It
like,
should be
bro.
good, right?
I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not doing nothing for me.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I
There
mean,
was
you got
nothing.
Cooper Kupp, Puka Nakua, Christian McCaffrey, Debo Samuel all out. So
Yeah.
it's like not many people are watching this. Nice to see Jawan Jennings go off.
Yeah.
And to me, a big factor for the Rams is getting Kyron Williams back, and he goes for 116 yards and 3 touchdowns. That is something the Rams can rely on. Even with Cooper and Puka out, you can feed Kyron Williams and get a lot of production out of him. So, plus their O-line is beat up, so solid performance by him. The Niners fall to 1-2. They play the Patriots in week 4. Amanda, are you ready to stick a fork in the 49ers after a slow start, or are you all right? You trust the process?
I'm gonna trust them. This week was just weird. Like
Yeah.
I'm not relying on anything that happened this week. Like I don't think Malik Willis is as good as he looked score wise this week. I don't think the Seahawks, I mean, okay, they played the Dolphins, but nothing I'm not trusting anything that happened this week. Like, I don't think Andy Dalton is that good. I don't think the Raiders are that bad. Like, this week was just absolute chaos. So I'm gonna yeah, I don't know. This week is weird.
Where's Ayuk? I mean, you just got paid. Like, where are you?
Who? Yeah, he was
Ayuk,
not.
yeah,
Yeah,
Jawan Jennings
that's
went
what
off,
kind of
but
bothering me because you wanted it.
You
Now
wanted it, you got it.
you literally have the opportunity to be the face of the team now because everybody's done.
yeah,
Everybody's down. So you're supposed to have like 10 catches for 150. You're supposed to be the guy that this game here should have been the game that you implemented why they paid you, if that makes sense.
48 yards.
can you if the defense game plans around him though, and they can they take him out of the game, or if you're a good enough
If you're a
receiver,
number one receiver, it doesn't matter their game plan.
yeah,
Especially when
yeah,
everybody else is down. Nah, like you can't use that as an excuse. I used to get double team. I got triple team. You still got to, especially when you're the like. There's no other names. You get what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like it's different.
Yeah.
Like if all those guys are still playing, well, I had a bad game because he was him. Da, da, da. You're the guy now. It's like if you're like second best or third best, you're waiting for that guy to go down so you can show that you're the reason why you can play. Like everybody's
yeah.
going, oh, I got to show off. Like give me the
Mhm.
ball. Like make it me. Like it don't matter what the defense do. You gotta. That's the time to shine. This is your time to really make your money and show people why you got paid.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
a
the
good
biggest
point.
issues in this game, I mean, looking at the numbers, the 49ers had 425 total yards. The Rams only had 296. So they had 130 more yards. But you skip down to the penalties. The 49ers had 7 penalties for 111 yards.
Wow.
Meanwhile, the Rams had 8 for 75. They were just messing up in all the worst ways.
It
Yeah,
was sloppy football on both sides. That's a
It,
20 penalty almost.
that's bad.
yeah,
I mean,
but yeah, I expect the Niners to bounce back against the who did I say they're playing? against the Patriots, so they should be able to get to 2-2. Nice win for the Rams.
I'm intrigued by their matchup the week after that. Cardinals 49ers. I want
Ooh.
to see which versions of these teams show up for that game.
49ers going to kill them.
Speaking of the Cardinals, Amanda, you and Hugh were riding with the Cardinals. They looked so good in week 2. You know, Kyler Murray healthy, Marvin Harrison Jr., James Conner, and they kind of no-showed. I mean, this game was winnable against Detroit, but they didn't get it done. They didn't make the plays when they needed to. What went wrong for the Cardinals, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, Kyler Murray coming off that perfect passer rating in week 2, like this game looked like it was going to be a shootout. Watching the first 5 minutes of this game, I was ready for, a 40-35 situation, like touchdown immediately for both teams. Like it looked like they were ready to roll, and then it just kind of fell apart. I mean, you don't expect a game that starts with back-to-back touchdowns to finish with a final score of 2013.
Mm-hmm.
It just, there was only 19 points for the rest of the game after that.
Lions didn't score at all in the second half.
Yeah,
I
but
think
they didn't need to.
Yeah, I think both of these teams are not good teams right now. I'm just looking at the teams. I don't think they're good teams. I think we're just excited to see the players on their team. And I think that's the reason why we expect so much, because oh, they got Saint, they got him, oh, they got Marvin. We want to see Marvin Harrison Jr. Like, instead of like really watching the game, like if you watch the game, they play like they're good, but they don't play like they're good. I know that doesn't make sense, but for me, like, okay, we're a good team, but then Detroit and Arizona come. Either Arizona should have dominated this game, I think, or either Detroit. I don't think it should have been close like this. Both of them supposed to be good teams, but it was good teams that played bad, if that makes sense. Or are y'all just bad teams playing against each other? So, because it wasn't a game that, it seemed like a game that one of the teams, like you said, you thought it was going to be a shootout. So you looking for one of the teams to look good, but y'all two bad teams playing each other and y'all play bad. It's kind of almost like the Philly game and the Saints game. Everybody thought both the teams gonna be good, but y'all two good teams that played bad.
Yeah.
So I want to circle back and talk a little bit about what happened right before the 2-minute warning.
Yeah.
Goff threw an interception. They said, like, they whistled and said that the 2-minute warning happened and that the interception didn't count because the clock had gone down below 2 before that.
Oh, yeah.
And then they replayed the clock. They slowed it down. The clock was at 2:01 when he threw the ball.
When they blew the whistle, too.
I never heard that.
And hiked it. Yeah, it was very weird because usually they're like a second or two late.
Mm-hmm.
They don't blow it early.
The ball was in the air at 2 minutes and 1 second. It was a pick six, and they called it back and said, no, it was the 2-minute warning.
Yeah.
But y'all didn't blow the whistle. You didn't end the play till after he had already thrown the interception and they were running.
Yeah.
They replayed it in slow-mo, and it showed the clock at 2:01 when the ball was already in the air. Like, you don't call a play dead because of the 2-minute warning. Like, if the play's happening, you call it after the play is over.
Yeah.
Like, a ball in the air, so that pissed me off because I thought the Cardinals were coming back and I was all ready to talk shit because Alex picked the Lions and I picked the Cardinals here, but that was messed up. And after that, like, if I were the Cardinals, I would have been pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you literally had a pick six coming back to tie the game, and then the refs somehow mess up the clock, negate it, and then
officiating has been suspect like crazy through 3 weeks. That was another example of it. Another reason the Cardinals lost this game, James Conner, who's been a workhorse back for them, has won them a lot of games. 9 carries for 17 yards. Yeah. I don't know what happened there, but that's a recipe for a loss.
And Detroit's run game isn't great. Like, it's not like they just had a handle on him. It just was an off night. Again,
no, the Lions are not where they were at the end of the year last year. No. They're working through some stuff right now, and they got a big game coming up. They're lucky to be 2-1, and they're going to host the Seahawks on Monday Night Football. That's a big game. You got the undefeated Seahawks. The Lions lose that, they're back to 2-2. It's a chance to make a statement, get to 3-1, beat an undefeated team. Then people will start buying the hype again. But that's a big game for Detroit.
I think they're going to get spanked.
Yeah, let's go Seahawks. Right, John?
No.
He's like, no, I can't do that. I can't say that.
John, Sunday Night Football, you were at this game. Chiefs at Falcons. Hey, the refs need to call that defensive pass interference against Kyle Pitts, huh, in the end zone.
No, that wasn't the reason why they lost the game. They lost the game because they were 2-9 from third down. Last week they were 1-8.
Yep.
The first week of the season they were 2-9. This is a good team. I'm sorry, like watching this. If you watch this team, I'm gonna tell you what shocked the shit out of me though.
Mm-hmm.
Time of possession, and if the time of possession going into the fourth quarter was 30 minutes to 10.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
it was like 31 minutes to like 11. It was like 10 something. Because I was looking at my friend Maria. I was like, Maria, they ran 62 plays. We only ran 26. There's no way in hell that's supposed to it shouldn't even be this close, especially thinking it's Kansas City. But with 26 plays, they still had a chance to win. It was crazy. With 26 plays, if they get the third down, this game is over. I got to see Kyle Pitts finally get a deep pass. Looks so good. We wanted more. Like everybody in the stadium wanted more. We had T.I. there. His daughter was singing. They had the people doing the swag and surf. Arthur Blank got put in the Ring of Honor. It was just so much. Samuel L. Jackson there. I mean, it was so much stuff going on, but they just couldn't get a rhythm. And Kansas City was not on. They were not on. Like if you looked at the game, they were not on. They were so beatable.
Yes.
Like Kelce was terrible. Justin Bates came through with a great pass breakup with Kelce that could have got them a first down.
Yep.
Then Justin Simmons, the guy that I love him now because he got a pick. He the only person to pick him off that many times. So and I'm like, we got him for free pretty much. I'm like, I don't even know what the hell was going on. I've been talking about this, like, how we got Justin Simmons? Like, what the hell are they thinking? Like, but honestly, we got to get better on third down. And I'm saying we because I live in Atlanta. So don't get all like I'm picking any teams or anything like that. But definitely the running game has got to continue to progress. And I think anything going through the running game is great. Drake London is getting the ball more. I'm happy about that. And I think I said this last week, and I'm going to continue to say it. They play Bijan at running back. They got Algiers in the third quarter.
Yeah.
And he came and got some good rushes off. The fourth quarter was kind of shaky because as fans, we wanted them to take the field goal and give the defense a chance to hold Kansas City, and then maybe get another field goal. But the paper or whatever they go by, it said you go for the touchdown now. No fourth downs. I'm like, dude, it was just bad ball in the red zone. I can't say, but I think they're a good team. They just have to be consistent. And we also have to understand you coming with two guys coming from injuries. You got two of your main guys coming back from injuries. They lost two linemen in the game, and they still had a chance at the end to win the game. So it wasn't as bad, but after a while, people are going to get tired of hearing, oh, it wasn't that bad. You know, people want to see you win these games that you should win. Right now, like the fan core, people around here are okay because we see that old boy is we seen Kirk Cousins as actually he's legit. You know, he's playable. They're not worried about putting Penix in. Everybody think the play on fourth down was terrible. Instead of running something down the middle with Algiers, you try to do a toss outside the Bijan or whatever that was, a stretch play outside, and Bolton looked like a superstar, but you just set him up for failure automatically. But the time of possession definitely have to go third down. If I'm Raheem Morris, I'm happy because we have the opportunities to win. So we're not far off. We're not far off. So I can't sit here and dog curse you. I can't sit here and say, oh, you're terrible, you're this. I'll be lying to myself. We as coaches got to find third down plays to make y'all successful. We got to find a way to put y'all in winning positions. This is not the players. This is us.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm long-winded, but I was there.
No, you're good.
No, I mean, all great points for sure. Go ahead.
And I think the trajectory of this game changed on that interception. Right before the end of the first half, Cousins threw that, pass to Pitts, intercepted by Connor. That was one of the smoothest laterals I've seen in a few years. That was slick. I mean, he got 3 yards and just gently lofted it back. I mean, that was a beautiful play. I was not rooting for the Chiefs because I don't do that, but like after that, I was like, no, if you pull off a lateral like that, like you kind of deserve to win. But I was kind of disappointed in the whole second half. I mean, for Atlanta, um, punt, field goal, downs. Like what a disappointing second half to be up at the first half, 14
Yeah.
13 going into halftime and just 3 out of 4 possessions not turn it into anything. And I think you're right about the third down situation. But moving
6
forward,
plays in the third quarter.
yeah.
They had 6
Yeah.
plays in the third quarter.
Wow.
I'm sorry, man. But keep going. I had to just say that.
No, you're good.
You keep
I'm
going.
just agreeing with you that it had to be disappointing for the players and the fans. But I think that team is so talented and they just have some kinks to work out.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. The Falcons are close. Like they're trending in the right direction. They're 1-2, but they could easily be 2-1 or 3-0. And it's still early in the season. Plenty of time to correct mistakes and get better. For the Chiefs, they're 3-0, but they could easily be 0-3. And they're not playing their best football right now. And so it's going to be interesting. For whatever reason, Mahomes and Travis Kelce are not on the same page. This was like Kelsey's best performance of the year, and it was 4 catches for 30 yards. Mahomes, throwing some dumb interceptions. So we'll see. This is just one of those games, and who's Atlanta play next? I need to look that up real
New
quick.
Orleans.
New Orleans, that's a big game.
Yeah. Especially after the New Orleans loss, this loss. Yeah.
Go
Tampa
Falcons.
lost. Pretty much everybody lost except Carolina.
Yeah, and that division is again wide open. No one's going to run away with
It's a
that.
gimme now since Dalton slid in. It's like
Yeah.
Who's going to show up? And I think Atlanta's going to show up. I think the next few weeks we're going to see a team that's going to be more consistent, and they're going to take off. I think they're going to understand what they need to do. This game is going to be a measuring stick for their rest of the year. I think this is going to show up. Carolina is actually not beatable anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last night I messaged Alex and I was like, the AFC East, AFC West, and NFC South are the only divisions that make any kind of sense right now as far as standings. Like if you had shown us like, all right, true or false question, this is what it looks like after week 3, and showed us each division in the NFL, we would have gotten 5 out of 8 wrong. Like
yeah.
The standings are wild.
North. Yeah.
Speaking of wild, I don't know if there's anything really to talk about in the Buffalo Jacksonville game. We talked about Trevor Lawrence playing with a sore shoulder. He does not win games when he plays through an injury. We talked about this before. Josh Allen had the game of his life, 47-10. That's the Josh Allen we want to see. But he's so hot and cold. He'll have a beautiful game like this, then he'll lose by 20 next week and throw 3 picks. So, prime Josh Allen, solid Buffalo defense. Jacksonville had a rough week and an injured quarterback. Like
Clemson, Trevor Lawrence could have showed up to this game. I don't think the Jags win. Like the Jags defense was terrible.
So
Josh
bad.
Allen picked them apart. I switched from I turned this game to the Bengals Commanders with quickness. Not a lot to say here, John. I mean, the Jags are 0-3. They're better than this, right? They're better than 0-3.
You are what you are.
One
more thing about the Falcons. Monday night, Sunday night, Saints, and then a Thursday night.
Ooh, back to back.
They really could have. If they start winning, they really can get a lot of attention, which I think they need right now. If they'd have won the Monday night, if they could have won this Sunday night, and they can win Thursday. So they want to give them recognition. The people they saw, because I looked at the schedule and I was like, dang, I got to come on Thursday. I'm like, good Lord. I'm like, hold on.
That's a lot of primetime attention.
That is some primetime attention. So they see it in them. So they just got to start showing up, because you don't want to be the end of the season that all them if you have any more games like that and they're off the schedule. But the Jags are shitty, and I'm sorry. And if anybody feels that way, I'm tired of I like Trevor Lawrence as a person, but we give him too much effing credit from college.
I've been saying this for years.
He is just so good. He can have one game in the whole year. They blame it on the lineman. They blame it on the running back. They blame it on the punter. They blame it on the coach. They blame it on the hot dog guy, but they never just said Trevor Lawrence is playing like shit. He's not that quarterback we thought he was. He deserves his $100 million we gave him, but he's just not that guy. It's just like, and I'm saying not because he went to Clemson and I'm a Gamecock either. I just don't see the stuff that they expect. I mean, but the Jags defense came off shitty. They got two guys that play ends that supposed to be like just these fierce guys. They did nothing on defense.
Yeah.
The Bills did anything they wanted to do. Just the first half was the game was over then.
Yeah.
You seen all the energy in that team just go away. Buffalo could do anything they wanted. They was knocking the hell out of Lawrence. Like, this game just pissed me off because it shouldn't have been on the damn Monday night game. I'm like, how the hell y'all keep putting Jaguars in this shit? It's the Jaguars. Like, think about it, it's the damn Jaguars. Like, don't put the Jaguars on primetime TV. Like, it was embarrassing.
They have to spread primetime games around. Every team is supposed to have a minimum of 2 primetime slots. Like, put them on a Thursday.
They don't deserve a Thursday. Exactly. Give them a Sunday. Give them a Sunday because people can walk away quick. People got to go to work. But don't give them no Monday night because you take a Monday, you got to work on Tuesday. But give them a Sunday. People don't really pay attention to Sunday night. You know, most people be like ready to go to work on Monday because you got to make Monday. You make it the first day of work. Then Sunday you can chill. But but this is like, I'm not saying it was bad ball. Like, I'm sitting here watching the game. Congrats to DeMar Hamlin, getting his first interception.
Yeah, that was cool.
Man, that was cute.
Yeah.
The way he held on to the ball too. He's like, nah, I earned this shit. Like,
no question. But it's like, and I'm not trying to knock this, but we gotta, like, when players are doing well and players are playing good, give them credit, which I will always do. But the consistency that we need to see from Trevor Lawrence, especially in the big game like this against the Bills, and I'm saying Trevor Lawrence more because you're the team leader, but we don't see that fire in you. Like, we don't see you going talking to the defense. We don't see you, like, when you're down, like, let's go, guys. We're gonna do it. And I know that's not his characteristics. I mean, I thought it was in Clemson, but in Jacksonville, it's kind of like you're just playing football. It's like, I don't see that. I don't
see the strong silent type, but
I get it. But you can't be a strong silent type on a team that's losing. Mm-hmm. Like, this is the time that people got to show. You got to show that I got feelings. Now, I don't know what he do in the locker room. In the locker room, he might just be fired, but on the field, you want to see that aggression. You want to see this quarterback diving for, like, taking a lick when you have to. You want to see him doing stuff,
holding people accountable.
Think about it. He finished with 178 yards. In my mind, if you're getting beat that bad, we're going to get all these empty yards. I'm throwing deep every time. Like, I might have 3 interceptions at the end of the game, but I'm going to show y'all that I feel like we still can win the game.
Use that game as a practice. Show them your cannon. I said, use that game as a practice. Like, the game is already lost.
I'm going out. Like I said, I played with Matt Ryan. We could have been down this game. Matt is still we ain't just going to be handing the ball off. We're going to go out here and try to win this game. They scored that many of this half. We're going to try to score this. Yeah. That's what I want to see. I want to see him going deep, even if the receivers are terrible. And I don't know how good or bad they are, but I'm trying. I'm like, you're going to have 3 interceptions this game. This second half is going to look ugly on your stat sheet, but we going out firing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been a big Trevor Lawrence supporter ever since he came into the league. I loved him at Clemson, beating Bama in the national championship game and all that. But I have to admit, he has to play better. Than the collapse at the end of the season last year was terrible. The start to this year has been terrible. And everyone remembers him for that big playoff comeback against the Chargers, but people forget he threw 4 interceptions in the first half of that game. So he needs to play better consistently. And
he should have threw 4 this game too. He should have threw 4 this game too. I'm going deep every time. I don't care. Y'all know we're going deep.
And I know
Alex,
I shouldn't be.
Farm remembers, man. Not all of us forgot.
I know I shouldn't be searching for a fall guy. I should put it on Trevor Lawrence. But let's go. It's fire Doug Peterson season right now. I know it's week 3. Get Doug Peterson the hell out of here. Let's get a real head coach for Trevor Lawrence.
All right, so Peterson or Eberflus?
That was a bad team game.
Peterson or Eberflus? Who are you getting rid of first?
Eberflus, but that's close. I mean, Peterson's won a Super Bowl, so I have to be careful how much criticism I give him, but yeah. So, I mean, the Jags weren't the only 0-2 team going into Monday night. Like we talked about, the reason they had 2 Monday night games, got to get the 2 quarterbacks from the same school playing against each other for the first time ever on a Monday night football game. That's the only reason they did it.
Like I promise you, that marketing was like, yo, we have to. Um, but going into this game, like I feel the same way about Trevor Lawrence as I do about Joe Burrows. They are potentially talented sometimes, but then I'm not seeing it over the last couple seasons. Like every time they have an opportunity to prove themselves, they fall flat. And I felt the same way about this matchup. Like the second Monday night game, like you said that you ditched out on one game to switch to the other one with hopes that it would be
Mhm.
better. Um,
It
all
was
that
great, actually.
it
It
was
was
a
it
good
was a
game,
fun
but all
game.
the
Yeah.
Bengals had to do was beat the Commanders. Like Commanders with a rookie quarterback, like that should have been an easy ask. Like they barely beat the Giants last week. Like the Giants. Like you should be able to pull this one off. Like the
Well,
Patriots had a good game last week and beat you. Like coming to this one ready for revenge, trying to avoid 0-3.
I'm not gonna put this on Joe Burrow though. You know where I'm gonna put this? On Jaden freaking Daniels.
He
His
had a
first
great
primetime
game.
game, rookie, he balled out. He looked great.
I'm
John,
gonna tell you, hey, listen, I'm gonna tell you, I think the winning play of the game was, and nobody really was paying attention. They didn't say a lot about it. And
uh,
I thought more teams was going to do this. They had Eckler as the returner. And he
and-
that field position, he got damn
yeah,
near to the 30, 29-yard line. So that ultimately won the game for him. Like people don't
yeah,
understand that small stuff like that. Eckler, I was like, what the hell are they doing? I thought I was seeing wrong, but
yeah,
I thought more people were going to get running backs or their backup running backs back there catching it because they know how to cut and find different seams. And I was like, that was the biggest play for me. I mean, not
yeah,
saying that this was some awesome football. I was so glad to see Jamar Chase. Like this has nothing to do with just who win and who lost, but just seeing players feel comfortable. He was dancing.
yeah,
I think he let some of that stress about the contract and not want like feeling bad and he just played ball. So it was good to see him playing good. McLaren balled out. It was just
Such a
like
good
some
game
stuff
for
you
him.
can't. Yeah,
yeah.
you can't knock that. And Jaden, one thing I can say about Jaden is I don't think he don't put pressure on himself to play football.
Mhm.
Like he
Hmm.
doesn't put pressure. He doesn't, and that's having confidence in the receivers you have, having confidence in your running back, having confidence in your coach. He's probably very coachable. I don't know anything about him personally, but when you see him, guy, and the first thing he said was, "Thank my mom and dad for raising me so good." And you gotta understand, stuff like that really does matter when it comes to being coachable. Being
Yeah,
coachable, having parents like that, because it's just stuff that we don't see, that we don't understand. Like some guy like Matt Ryan, hell of a coach. He's thinking he had all these he had different coaches damn near every year almost, and it was like he was coachable. And you watch him and how if they tell him to do this, he know when to run, he know when to let it go, and he's not afraid to put the trust in the receiver to catch that ball. He's gonna try to squeeze it in there. He's gonna get it to those guys, and because those guys that practice time shows when the games when you're not scared to just throw it as a rookie like that.
Yeah.
But that was
you
a
can.
beam. That was a beam. I
Yeah.
was like, ooh.
He was
Yeah,
lofting it. And if you had asked me which rookie quarterback was going to have a breakout team this year, I figured he needed a couple of years. Like I like
Yes.
him,
yeah,
but he's playing
Especially with the
so
Commanders,
like I
yeah.
did not give him
yeah.
enough credit. So
Team
I'm
around him.
excited to see this.
Yeah.
But we do have to mention this is the first game in 84 years to have no turnovers and to score on every single possession.
No
Wow.
punts.
That's crazy. Where's the
No
defense
turnovers, no
at?
punts.
Come on now. Let's get some defense back in football.
No, that was a good.
That game was
That's a good
fun.
Monday night game. That's a good. That's the one that sell tickets. That makes you
Yeah.
want to come back and watch
Yeah, see?
Commanders. People gonna watch Commanders more now.
Oh
People gonna
yeah.
watch the Bengals because they like, dude, the Bengals are 0-3. What the
They're
hell?
waking
I'm a
up
Bears
now.
fan. I gotta see some punts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alex likes his low defensive battles. I like me a
Yeah, we need a 6-3.
nah,
yeah.
I hate that shit. That's like a baseball game that makes it to like the bottom of the 10th with a 0-0. Like, kill me.
Yeah, those
Why
are
am I here?
awesome.
I hate that shit.
I forgot. Von Miller. I saw him.
Yup. Big shot.
I
Hey,
said
I
Alex a
forgot.
video of them after the game. They were all talking to the camera, talking about like Big Dub, and I was like, oh look, it's Von Miller. He exists. That's weird.
I was thinking. I forgot because I'm like, I got to mention Von Miller because I see
No,
Von
he had a
Miller.
great game. I just
Yeah.
for some reason my brain just thinks he retired. Like I don't know.
I think we're getting into the basketball era now. Both of those guys had their shirts off in the press conference. I was like, I don't even get this at football. But when football players start doing that, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I think it started when Kirk Cousins started wearing chains. Like it just
Yeah,
Oh
it
Kurt
went
looked at the
downhill from
chain.
yeah,
there.
I forgot about that. Yeah, you hit the head on
Yeah.
the head. No, I'm like that press conference, just like
Yeah. Just nips out, all
I'm
right.
like, good Lord, man.
All right, let's week 4 starts on Thursday night. The 1-2 Cowboys at the 1-2 Giants. How do we see this game going down? John, who you got? Dallas
I
at New
got this. I
York.
got where they playing? I'm sorry.
In New York.
I got the Cowboys. I think they're gonna.
Yeah.
I think the running game is gonna be there. I think. I just can't see Daniel Jones having 2 weeks back to back being good. Like I said, I'm very big on Neighbors.
Neighbors, yeah.
I'm big on him, but I think I think Dallas is going to shake back from that loss. Because what is the Giants running game look like? Nothing, right? Okay, so
Devin Singletary.
yeah, he's okay.
I gotta pull up the rest, but I know Devin Singletary.
Yeah, but I got the
gotta roll with the
Cowboys.
Cowboys here too for that same reason. Like the Cowboys put up a fight against the Ravens. Neither one of them played a great game, but the Giants pulled off a solid win, and I just can't see that being sustainable for them.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I expect the Cowboys to take care of business. Micah Parsons and those guys to get after Daniel Jones.
Yes.
So I think I got the Cowboys by, at least 7, if not double digits. I think they take care of business. And Daniel Jones, the Giants have issues. They're going to have to deal with that all year. Losing Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones is going to have to protect the football. I like Malik Neighbors a lot. I agree with you, John, but he's a rookie and so we'll see if how the defense does. The Cowboys defense needs to show up and have a great game because they've no-showed a couple weeks this year already. So
yeah, I want to see Malik Neighbors get more runs. I'm like, yeah, I know he's a wide receiver, but I feel like their offense is set up well to protect him and give him time to get going on the ground as well.
Yeah.
I mean, besides Singletary, they've got Tyrone Tracy Jr. and Daniel Jones as the top 3 rushers for the week. Daniel Jones with 20. Like they're rushing 112 yards for the team in the game. Like use Neighbors there. Like if you're playing a team that has a questionable run defense like Dallas does this week, use your receiver as a running back. Like Dallas their secondary is fine. Use him on the ground if you need to.
Absolutely.
But I am hoping for a slightly less chaotic week because my picks were garbage this week. Actually, we had the same picks, right? The same number.
I can't believe I didn't gain any ground on you. We split 3-3. I'm so frustrated.
I mean, we should be counting the point differentials in these because
no, we shouldn't.
We should.
No.
Alex picked the Broncos against Miami last year. In that 70 to 20 matchup.
Russell didn't cook.
That's awesome.
Russ needs to cook.
Alex, what was that sign that someone had this week that was like everybody eats when James cooks?
Yeah.
So good.
That's good. Oh, that's good.
That was a good sign. All right. Well,
great to have you back.
Great having you, John. Like, we love your insight. See now who's looking pretty.
Let's get you back on next week. Keep following.
One thing.
Yeah.
Thanks for not using the word stun. He didn't use it one time, so you do pay attention to details, man. I appreciate it.
Well,
the whole page would have been stunner.
When the Falcons stun next week, I'm gonna make sure and put it on there.
Am I allowed to? Oh, I can mute you. Oh, next time he uses it, I'll mute him for 5 minutes. We'll put him in timeout. And I only used the word cute once to talk about Damar Hamlin holding his football. That was cute. His little moment,
That was cute.
It was cute.
All
right, on that note, let's get out of here. Great work as always. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And peace out.